Hello, and welcome to the Cup TV, the Currently Unnamed Podcast, where we put the real and the tea in reality, and where you can always come to us first to quench your reality thirst. I am your girl Lana, your resident evil diva, and I'm here to give the tea, spill the tea, and drink that tea because you know I love me some tea purr. And if you have some tea, you know what to do. Hit me up. I am currently just drinking water because I did not go grab anything else to drink before we started, and I didn't really want to, so it is what it is. But if I was drinking anything else, I would probably be drinking it out of my cup mug. Cup mug, you see it. And this cup mug is like not just a regular mug; it can be used for anything. Like right now, I'm storing office supplies in there because why not? It's very multi-purposeful. So, but you can get your cup mug at lanagcreations.etsy.com, and we do ship internationally and domestically, so there are no excuses. I'm looking at you, all of you. I don't even know where y'all at in the world, but y'all know where you at, and you can get you a cup mug and all of our official cup merch. Period.
Hey everyone, it is Taylor. It's been a little bit since I've been here, but I'm excited to be back to dish on the latest episode. I am drinking coffee today because it was a rough morning. So we're not going to be drinking bourbon, but I've got my caffeine and I'm going to power through this with y'all. I'm so excited.
Period. I mean, look, we get what we get. We like what we like. We drink what we drink. And if I drank coffee, I probably would have got coffee, but I don't drink coffee.
It blows my mind every time people say that.
I don't drink coffee. I'm a tea gal, hot chocolate, but not cold. But the weird thing is, I love the way coffee smells. I will go.
It's the best.
It is so great. I will go in a coffee shop and just sit for hours, or go in the coffee aisle at the grocery store. Just it's so good.
Sometimes I wonder if these villains need like a good coffee grinder in the house to get the smell of coffee going in the morning, just to keep their moods up, because they are sometimes an ornery bunch in the morning.
Yeah, and we'll talk about a lot more of morning villains this episode because, yeah. But first, before we get started, y'all know what to do. Hit the subscribe button while you're here. Hit the button. Let us know you support us because we appreciate all of the support. And don't worry, I'll remind you at the end of the video as well. But subscribe. Why not? I mean, we might be talking about House of Villains, but we're not villains. We're actually good people. And you want to hear us talk about it, everything. So hit the subscribe button. But yes, we are talking about House of Villains, episode 6. And where we left off was our supervillain of the week was Omarosa. And she decided to put her hit list as Shake, Tanisha, and Corinne. After promising Corinne and Tanisha that she would not put any of them on the hit list because she wants to get some of these guys out. So that is what she told them, and that is what apparently they believed. So they were very shocked to see that they were on the hit list. And we left with Tanisha and Omarosa going back and forth. And that will continue throughout the rest of this episode. So what are your thoughts of House of Villains and what's going on in this house thus far, Taylor?
So I'm living Omarosa as like the first person to be supervillain twice is, I think, so fitting. I think she is playing this game hard, and if anyone deserves to get to do too much right away, it's her. I also think that I think she overpromised for sure. I don't think these nominations were necessarily the smartest move for her, but I do think that like she had a good reason to avoid targeting Bananas right off. And I think putting all of his allies up on the block is the correct thing to do. It was really interesting because, you know, she talks in the beginning of the episode about, I really hate floaters. And I'm like, I'm not sure that these are floaters as much as like you're just taking a shot at the other side.
Mm-hmm.
But it's an interesting one. I'll be curious to see how this dynamic unfolds. Especially, she's been publicly now caught out in this lie too, so I'll be curious to see how it affects her credibility.
Exactly. And it's so funny that she was like, I hate floaters. And I'm like, but you're protecting a really strong floater in this game in Anfisa. Like Anfisa's
Mm-hmm.
doing nothing in this game really, but floating along and using you as the shield because you're protecting her and everybody's looking at you. Who's looking at her? So I was
Well,
just like,
and Fisa's not even floating well, right? Like she floats
no.
to the other side of the pool, and they basically just splash her and want to get her away from them as fast as possible. So,
Once it
I don't know,
happened,
Omarosa. Like you need to recognize like a good floater versus a bad floater, because right now her floater radar is all over the place.
it's a little because honestly, the only people actually playing the game and doing things to play the game is, for in my opinion, is Omarosa herself,
I'd say Johnny.
Johnny, Bananas, and Bobby.
Yeah,
Because Bobby is actively making
moving back.
chaos, right? Doing things and making shifting the atmosphere in times when he wants it to be shifted. And so
I think we should put a little respect too on fair play. I think that
a little
he's
bit,
had not a lot, a little
not a
bit. He
lot.
can get a little smidgen of respect because he
Mm-hmm.
has had his moments of sabotage,
Yes.
his moments where he's clearly noticed things that are going on that the rest of the house is yet to catch up on.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I would agree that those four seem to be kind of the biggest players in this moment. Whereas like
Yeah.
Anfisa, not doing much. I think Tanisha hasn't been doing as much, but is
She's
about
about to wake up.
to.
She's about to wake up. Tanisha about and this is the thing. I think it shows who has never played competition reality show games.
Yes.
And Tanisha has never played a reality show game where she had to compete and do things. Corinne has never played a reality show where she had to compete and do things. I mean, she was on The Bachelor, so of course she had to navigate, but that was a whole different navigation process of how you know
Yeah.
it's just different. And Fisa, same way, never had, and Shade even same way, they never competed on these reality TV shows for money and where you had to be strategic and all of this stuff. And it shows because they didn't understand how different it was and how much you actually had to play and you
Yeah.
actually had to make moves to protect yourself and push you in a forward position. You had to position yourself well. And Tanisha, for me, I don't think she was playing a bad game. She was just like, I'm just trying to get along with people, and if people like me, they won't vote for me. And she had to realize that's not the case because
Yeah.
people can like you, but this is the house of villains, and they are trying to actively get you out,
Yeah.
actively make you react in ways to make you look bad. And so it's interesting to see the dynamics with everybody and how they are, those who have played like a Johnny Fairplay and Bananas and Omarosa,
Mm-hmm.
who played these games, who've been in competition games, who had to politic and maneuver and backstab people. Like that's what they do.
They strategize together, right? Like they'll have
Mm-hmm.
conversations, like Bananas and Omarosa's conversation about who is a floater and who are the big targets.
Mm-hmm.
Like they know how to talk game in a
Mm-hmm.
way, whereas like when Tanisha or Anfisa or one of the floaters is approached with game, they tend to just kind of receive it. You don't see them like putting a lot of strategy back out there. They're more like,
Mm-hmm.
yes, thank
Mm-hmm.
you for kind of telling me this about the game. I agree with you, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
they I think they're not playing as strong a game as they could on a strategic and a social level.
Right, right. And so we get to this episode, and after the villains leave the lair, Omarosa is in the kitchen, and Tanisha comes out, and she's fuming. And this is the thing with Tanisha, and for me, I'm like, I understand how she is one of these people like I'm real. I don't like fakeness. I don't like don't come and tell me one thing and then do the complete opposite. I don't like that.
Yeah.
That's not how I roll. And in her real life, she's like that. And so she's like, even in games, I don't like that. And I understand that because for me, I'm the same way. I'm like, look,
Yeah.
even in a game aspect, just tell me what you go do. If you
Yeah.
coming for me, say you coming for me. Have the balls to say you coming for me, so I know what to do. And I'm like, all right, if you coming for me, I'm coming for you, and let me the best person win, and let's go. And I respect that more for me. And so I feel like Tanisha is that way. She's like, look, I would rather you just come tell me straight up, like, sis, I'm coming for you. And I do believe she looked at Omarosa as someone who she wanted to play with, and she was like,
Agreed.
she thought that they had this kind of commonality. They were like, look, she was like, sis, I got you. Like early in the week, in the season, she was like, Omarosa was taking her on luxury trips with her. They were
Hmm.
bonding, they were talking, and
Talking about
Tanisha,
her kids.
right. So Tanisha took that like, okay, personally, we got a relationship here. And so I really think we are good with each other. But I really think after that bowling trip last week, Omarosa felt like Tanisha didn't want to play with her because Tanisha didn't want to
Yeah.
talk game with her. And I'm like, I mean, I can understand both sides because if I'm coming at you with game and you like, I don't want to talk about it, please don't, and you tell somebody else to tell me, if you don't tell her to leave me alone, I don't want to talk to you. You know, I'm like, oh, so you really don't want to play with me? Okay,
Yeah.
you don't want to play with me. But I think in Tanisha's defense, she was kind of more like, I just want to enjoy bowling. I
Yep.
just wanted to take. I don't want to talk game in this atmosphere.
Yeah. I completely agree with that. Which I think. Well, I don't want to like jump ahead because it is kind of funny how Tanisha then acts on this field
Mm-hmm.
trip.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I do agree with you. I think Tanisha like really did like I think talking about people like when you talk about like really personal things in a game, you do think you have that bond there. So I think especially Omarosa like mentioned like them talking about her kids, mentioning being a new mom, mentioning not working as much, like all of that is gonna be a reason she thinks that there's like a real bond there. What was there was this moment where Tanisha brings that back up when she's
Mm-hmm.
mad at Omarosa. And I found this moment really fascinating because Omarosa's like, I kind of think you're weaponizing like your children and your motherhood, and I really don't respect that. And there was a piece of me that like I understood both sides in that
Mm-hmm.
interaction as well too, because
Mm-hmm.
it can be frustrating when you're like, look, I'm just playing the game and you're trying to tug on my heartstrings in a way that I find kind of ick. But then
Mm-hmm.
there's also like, no, we've shared these personal things and like you know these things about me, and it like hurts even harder because why did we have these moments if you are just going to do this to me?
Right. I'm gonna look, Taylor. We both been in this in play games, and we have played some really intense games online where we have these moments where we talk personally with people, and it's like, sure, if knowing this is still a game state situation, but when you have those times where long periods of time where you're having conversations with people, things do get personal. You do tell personal information, and you feel like, oh, I'm really, truly, actually bonding with this person. I like
Mm-hmm.
talking to them. They talk about, if we don't just talk game. It's not
It goes,
always both.
it's like beyond game.
Right. It's beyond game. And sometimes you hate that because it's like, I'm still trying to play the game, but I feel so differently about this person beyond the game. And I don't want to hurt this person, but I still have to play the game. And we've been on situations where we had to hurt people in the game and they take it very personally because of the outside conversations that we've had with them. Some people know how to take it in stride as it's game. Some people don't.
And you can tell who's played, I think, more or less by who
Mm-hmm.
takes it in stride a little bit better. And I
Mm-hmm.
will say, Omarosa maybe should have been able to see, like, she's played a lot of games. She should
Mm-hmm.
know Tanisha has not played a lot of games. I
Mm-hmm.
think as a veteran game player, you need to be cognizant about how experienced other people are playing games.
You
So,
need to pick up on like that tidbit of thing, and use that as like she could have used that as a great like
You haven't
stepping stone.
played that many. Come under my wing, like be
Exactly.
my little sis.
And then I will take you as far as I can get you, and then I'm gonna cut you. Like, and I feel like Tanisha would have to respect that because it's like, yes, this is still a game. You don't really know. Like, I'm the kind of person I love getting in games where people are new, don't really know how to play, haven't played a lot of games. Not that they don't know how, but they just haven't had the experience, and so sometimes it gets very overwhelming to them when the game is so like coming down on them. So I like to get the new people and be like, hey, come on. I mean, I'm here for you. I'm here for you. And I'm gonna help you throughout this whole thing. I'm talking all this stuff because I'm no longer playing games. So all of my secrets, I don't really care. I'm not longer playing. But yeah, it's just like it's I like to get the new people under my wing and be like, okay, I got you, I got your back. We can work this thing out. And I'm giving tidbits of information, if not all the information. It depends on how much I really want to work with them. But you get as much information as I feel like giving you, and then it's like, let's play this thing. And by the time even if they get cut, if they get to jury, by that time they trust you so much, and they want you to win. They want success for you because it's like, I was here for you. I made sure, and but the tide is shifting. I really don't have a choice but to let you go because that's the way the house is voting, or that's the way that's going. And I tried. I sincerely tried to change it, but people voted the way they voted. Sometimes I vote against the house just to let them know. Them
I
going
was
into
with
jury,
you.
I was with you. And remember that in the jury house. Or sometimes I'm like, I couldn't stick my neck out because
Sorry.
I'm so sorry. It's I can't be the only one, but I wanted to let you know this is where the vote is going.
I just anyone watching this right now, this was a free lesson in jury management from the legend Lana. So like, take your notes, say thank you. Appreciated. I've learned everything I know about jury management from this woman right here.
You have to do that. You have to make sure people leave the game feeling like you had their back.
Yeah.
Even if you really didn't. Even if you honestly couldn't or didn't have it completely. It's a nobody likes leaving anything feeling like
And Omarosa just made 3 people feel like she had their backs and then screwed over 2 of them.
It was so unnecessary for me for her to have that conversation. Like, that conversation in the kitchen never needed to happen if she wasn't going to follow through. And that was my one thing. I was like, Omarosa made a mistake for that. Now, I don't know if they have jury. It's probably no jury or anything. But now she created, because what if at the end of this game, because we don't know the format, what if at the end of this game, everybody voted out comes back to vote out?
To vote for the winner, like the 8 people who were voted out get to pick. I could see that happening.
I could see that, and I would love it.
I would, yeah. The only thing is, like, I don't know how that would work because you could have a tie unless it's like a final 3.
Mm-hmm. Which it could be a final 3.
But I would love that, especially because like we're not seeing great jury management here, and like,
none whatsoever. Because if you did me like that and I leave, I mean, she did that. She had a bad comp fight with New York on her way out. She lied to Corinne straight up to her face on her way out. Tanisha's pissed off at her and mad. So if she doesn't stay, if she doesn't win, all that other stuff, she is not creating.
She's put up Shake twice.
Like, why would Shake?
Omarosa has a lot of enemies, I think, right now.
Mm-hmm. So if the final format is the house guests come back and they vote for the winner, yeah, Omarosa, I don't care what your speech is. I don't care really what you say. They're like, I don't like you.
Yeah.
You gotta at least make the jury like you. That is
completely.
That's my advice. At least make the jury like you. A little bit, at least. And that is why I get out of games very early, because people be like, Mama, people like you and you need to go. And I'm like, oh, right then. But
sorry I didn't fight with you all.
Right, I'm sorry I wasn't out yelling in the house chat all day and fighting with everybody, sending scathing videos with talking about how much I hate you. Sorry.
If you want to play with the person who sends petty gifs, like go ahead, but that's not gonna be me.
Right, not me. I'm not going to be passive aggressive in the house chat, just sending cryptic messages and things, and I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to tell you straight up. Look, I'm voting for you. Or,
Respect.
or I'm not voting for you, and I actually mean it when I say I'm not voting for you. Like, okay. Enough about us and me in these games. It's so stupid. But
Okay, wait, in the episode, where are we?
we are at now. We get to after the fight in the kitchen with Tanisha and Omarosa, back and
That's
forth,
on
and
this field trip to get some waffles.
yeah, we're going to get waffles. Eva tells them it's time to go get some brunch. And everybody's like, okay, we know how the last field trip turned out, and we don't think this is going to turn out any better. So,
I have
sure.
a couple of notes like before we get to brunch.
Mm-hmm.
One, I love Shake being so unlikable, even to his own roommate, when he's like, "Hey Johnny, do you need anything before I use the shower?" Never mind. Like, so funny. Like, please, editors, continue to show us how Shake is the least likable person on the face of the planet. Like, he truly does not know how to not be an asshole. And then I also was obsessed with Tanisha being so freaking angry that she couldn't stop talking about game in the car and like speculating about the other car talking about game. Meanwhile, Corinne is just in there like just having a pleasant conversation, just floating as she does.
I mean, talking about where would you want to live in here? Her Omarosa, like, where would you want to live if you could live? What's the coolest place to live in? Miami. Yeah, I would love to live in
I have a great
Miami.
plastic surgeon there. I have to do it because I can't sweat in the gowns. I didn't get that, but I loved it.
She has to get the uh, surgery, Botox or whatever, under her armpits to stop her from sweating.
Oh,
She
okay.
gets yeah, to get shot so you won't sweat. And I was like,
I
all
didn't know
right.
Botox could keep you from sweating. See, I
It's
learned
some
something this
it's right.
episode.
It's some kind of I don't know if it's I don't know if it's Botox, but it's some kind of treatment that stops them from sweating. It's a shot that they get. I do know that, but I don't know what it's called. But yeah, who knew? Who knew you can what these celebrities go through when they have to borrow gowns. They make sure that they don't sweat. And that is why I just talk about them from the comfort of my own home, sweating right now because I don't have to worry about that.
So, what were you
But
thinking about this brunch date?
oh, I knew it was gonna be a mess the second they were out for brunch. I knew it because see, this is the thing. Tanisha is so like we said, this is not her element. This is not what she does. Even on the Bad Girls Club, that's not what you do. You don't play. And the girls they fake on the Bad Girls Club. Well, guess what? Then they fight about it, and there's a fight. It is Tanisha is a she is very like fight first and then talk about it later. That's her mentality. And look, I've been there. I get that. I used to be that way. I used to be like very like living on the wish factor. I wish you would say something to me so I can just I'm going for you. I'm gonna come for your
Yeah.
neck. And I'm gonna, bop bop first and then we'll talk about it afterwards. But Tanisha is fuming. She is livid at all of this. And she's just like, I don't know how to be fake. I don't know how not to talk to people, who I don't know how to talk to people who did me wrong. And she
Yeah.
feels very wronged by Omarosa. So, like you said, in the car she was talking. She couldn't stop talking about the game. At brunch, she was like,
Can't stop.
she's just sitting there, and you can see it bubbling up, and everybody's like
Mm-hmm.
talking about the waffles and about food, da da da. And Johnny's trying to make a light of a situation, but she's sitting there stewing.
Yeah, she's not having it. I think it actually made it worse seeing someone she trusted making light of it, because when you're mad at someone and you're stewing in your shit, you want all of your people to be on your side serving passive aggression too. And so seeing John, she's like, I'm feeling I gotta say something.
Right.
And I was nervous because like New York also said something when she couldn't be fake anymore, and I think it's a
Mm-hmm.
big reason why she got sent packing.
Yeah.
I do not want Tanisha to go packing anytime soon. I was nervous watching her have these fights. Like, my note here says, like, please don't let this do for you what it did to New York.
Yeah, I feel like I was the same. I felt the same way. I was like, she go New York herself right after the game because I felt like New York could have stayed if she wouldn't have just flew off the handle so much. And then I think she could have stayed if she wasn't flying off the handle about things that weren't true. That's the difference between New York and Tanisha.
Yes,
Because
agreed.
New York was flying off the handle about things that just never happened. Like, I
I
don't
think
even
she
know.
misheard.
She definitely misheard. And the delusion behind all of that, she just ran with it, and it just wasn't true. So the fact that she was doing that to Johnny and it wasn't true. And he was just like, and Corinne was like, I'm trying to tell you it's not true. And I'm like, girl, you know that people would have your back if you would have just calmed down. If you would have just, and then she went not only at Omarosa, but she went at Tanisha as well in the same thing. And it's like, yeah, you're not doing yourself any favors. But Tanisha, on the other hand, I feel like she was going off on something that was true. Like, everything she was mad about was fact.
And it was more targeted. It
yeah,
mainly going to come at Omarosa, which as a player can be like oh, hey, they're not going to be mad at everyone. They're just going to be targeting Omarosa. Give me a reason to keep you. You only have one target, and it ain't me.
Exactly. And that's why I'm sitting. I'm like, I don't really care. If I see people fighting and I know this person wants to win so they can come after that person and they're not coming after me, sure, I'm going to let you stay. I'm going to let you stay and y'all fight it. Why would I get rid of somebody who's not even targeting me, who's not even looking at me? You want this other person out, so I'm going to let you do what you want to do to satisfy your soul. Make sure you get them. But that's like voting out somebody who said they want to quit. I'm not going to do that. Why would I vote out somebody who wants to quit? Just quit. If you really want to quit, you go quit. But I'm not going to give you the vote and say you to actually vote you out when you're saying I want to quit. No.
Especially when you never know when you're going to get power. And so it's frustrating sometimes when people try and hijack your power. It's like, no. I have my ideas for how I want this to go. And if you want to quit, please do it once my round is over.
Right. You know? You can quit on any other time you want. Don't come to me like, please just put me up. No.
I did want to bring up, so there was this moment where Tanisha was really angry at brunch and she like cursed at Omarosa. And then Omarosa was like, I don't like the cursing, and I think it speaks to you having like low intellect. And I just found that to be a really like low blow. It was one I really didn't stand by. It felt a little classist to me. So I just wanted to put it out there into the world. Like, if you're disagreeing with someone, you never need to say they seem stupid because of the way they speak to you. It just makes you look bad, not them.
It's a thing. I'm gonna say this. It's in our community, in my community, in my Black community. We like to do that thing to other Black people. We love to. I'm not them. I'm not them. I'm a different kind of. And we do that a lot to people, especially people who may like Omarosa feels like she's very elite. She went to good school. She went to, she worked at the White House. She's not trashy, low ghetto, like
she's not in the bad girl club.
Right. She's not like those kind of Black people. And we do that. And it bothered me too. I'm so glad you said that, because it bothered me when she was like, your vocabulary must be very, for you to talk like that. And I'm like, no, she's angry. Don't try to tone police her anger. I don't like it. I won't want to tone police your anger. And like, I think when Omarosa's being very, like, I don't get why you're doing, like, I'm not going to tell her, you know what? You need to stop talking like that, because that's like, you try to act like you act like you better than me. Like, no, that's just how she wants to portray herself. And that's fine. But don't, on the other side, on the flip side, tone police Tanisha and tell her, that she's stupid or has her educational system is low because she curses. No, I don't curse often, but if I do, that don't mean I don't have a good vocabulary. I have a very extensive vocabulary, but sometimes cursing gets the point across.
Yeah, I have a great vocabulary, and there's some profanity in it too. Like, sorry.
Sorry, that's just what it is. But I feel like sometimes the curse words get the point across, and
Amen. Yeah.
And I feel that way. It's like it doesn't come out the same way if I'm like, I don't like you, or I don't effing like you. And it's like, I'm just letting you know I really don't like you.
You're a dang mean Republican.
Right.
And I'm glad you were fired. Sometimes it works better when you say you're a cum guzzling, cock sucking Republican cunt.
Period. Period. See, I needed you here last week with me, Taylor, because I don't say that, and I didn't say it, but I paraphrased it as well as I could because I don't talk that way. But it sounds much better coming the direct quote. So yes, I appreciate that.
Yeah. New York has a great vocabulary. Let's just put that out there right now. And it is maybe a little profane.
And that's fine. That's just, it's what it is. It's what it is. But it gets her point across, period. But yeah, it was so, I didn't like that either. But Tanisha was just like, I can't be fake with this woman. And they have their moments and their back and forth. And another thing I didn't like was Anfisa was like, she just picks fights with Omarosa all the time, and I don't really like that. And she's not someone I want to be around. I'm like, picks fights with Omarosa?
Yeah.
She picks fights with Omarosa?
So you could see from people's confessionals where in the house they kind of fell. Because like Corinne's hearing this fight, and she's like, I don't know, I'm kind of with Tiffany or Tanisha here. And Fisa's more like, oh, I'm more with Omarosa.
Of course you're with Omarosa because she didn't she didn't put you up. If Omarosa put all three of them up, then she would have been like, I can't believe she did that to me.
That was a funny moment. But less confessionals from Anfisa, and I will be very happy.
Me too. It is so bad. And so we get Tanisha was like, you know what, Johnny, let's go out. And Johnny was like, yeah, let's just leave. So they go outside to talk. Johnny to calm her down a little bit. Yeah. She was upset.
And she doesn't need much. She just needs to be reassured. Shake loses, you're fine. Which I think everybody is in agreement on.
Exactly.
And then it looks like brunch seems to go well because production doesn't give us much more of it.
No, it was like, okay, that's it. Wrap it up. So
yeah.
After we leave the brunch, we go back to the house. And when they get to the house, they see these big boxes in the backyard. And so they were like, oh, this must be the redemption challenge. What is it? And so Eva was like, I know you see the boxes. That's part of the redemption challenge. We'll get into that later. She was like, can I go in there? They were like, no, don't go in the boxes. Like, okay, don't go in the boxes. And so everybody's contemplating the rest of the night, trying to figure out what the heck is in these boxes. Now, they came back from brunch, I'll probably say about 10 or 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock, like noonish or whatever. This redemption didn't take place till 9 that evening. So they had all day to just stew about what this redemption challenge could be.
And Corinne is stewing.
She is stewing. She is. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, but I need your help. I need to make sure. And so Bobby and Johnny, and I think it was Anfisa, I was like, you're good. If Shake, just don't let Shake win. Shake wins, then that's crazy. But we still got you. We got you. Don't you worry about it. We got you. And so she's like, I don't know. I just don't know what it is. I'm so nervous. And she's nervous. She don't know. She don't know what it is. Shake tries to talk to Anfisa, but Anfisa's not hearing him. She's like, I don't trust you.
No, I will say, I don't think I do think Shake is being fairly genuine here in this conversation. I do
Mm-hmm.
think he realizes he has no options and is kind of
Mm-hmm.
trying to prostrate himself to Anfisa. I think it speaks to how deeply unlikable he is as a person, that like he's not making any headway in this conversation. If he
Mm-mm.
had just an ounce more charisma, I think this conversation could go very differently for him. It was also fun to watch as a Shake hater. It was so good.
It was fun to see Shake actually like getting nowhere and trying so hard. It was like, I mean, and everything he's saying was legit and logical. It made sense. If Anfisa actually listened to him, it actually made sense. But she was like, no, I don't like you. I don't trust you. It's nothing you could say that makes me change my mind. I will never vote for you. You voted for me. I'm not voting, and I will vote for you.
I do think there's also an element too where you can see she's not a game player, because a better
Mm-hmm.
game player would have done a better job of hearing him out here.
Yes, I agree. I myself, again, have been in a moment where I've had tunnel vision, like I just don't like this person. And it caused me eventually, it's like, okay, you have to stop thinking about how much you don't like this person and think about the bigger picture of the
Yep.
game. It's not going to always be about this person. It almost cost me a game because I was so tunnel vision on one person, fixated the entire time. This person voted for me and put me up twice. I want them gone. Like for real, 100%. I don't care what we have to do. I just want them gone. And it almost cost me. So I was just like, okay, just you and yeah, that just showed her as she's not the gamer that
Yeah.
she could be, but she has great people around her to keep her
Insulated.
yes,
Yeah.
very much so. So after that conversation happens, then
Ding
we get
dong.
a ding dong. We get a guess, and it's Spencer
Who is
Pratt.
it? Who is this?
Spencer,
Who?
I'm
Huh?
look, I'm Spencer. Spencer who? Spencer Pratt. Spencer Pratt. He was like, Shake answered the door. Shake had no idea who Spencer Pratt was.
Shake
And
doesn't
Spencer,
watch reality TV, and he needs to quit answering the door.
he really does because he has no idea who anybody is. He's like, and you are? Am I supposed to know you? And like, I didn't watch Laguna Beach and all that stuff or whatever he was on. I didn't watch Spencer Pratt's reality show, but I know who he is. I've
You've picked
heard
up an issue of US Weekly at one point or
at
another.
one point in time you saw Spencer and with
Heidi.
Heidi and Spencer on something. You if you have if you know you know. But Jake had no idea. He had no idea who Spencer was. So he walks. He's like, "Should I know who he is?" He's like, "Okay." So he walks in, and Corinne knows who he is, and Omarosa knows.
Omarosa knows. Johnny
Tanisha,
knows.
Johnny knows. He's like, "Hey, man, da 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 da." Then they go from "Hey, Spencer, how you doing?" to a roast fest on Spencer. The second
Bobby goes, he's gained a few pounds, but it's fine. I'm like, dead. Dead.
It was like Omarosa was like, "What happened to Spencer?" Like we've been on 3 or 4 lists of nominees for most villain this reality star, and now he's what is this?
Yeah.
And Corinne is like, Spencer is a villain gone soft. I don't know.
Johnny is like, I don't think Spencer even knows where he is right now.
It's so I was like, dang, it turned into a roast fest that fast. And so Bobby is like, I don't really he was like, oh, Spencer was like, I don't really know you. He was like, yes, because I'm current. Bobby, because I'm current and relative right now. Like I was like, oh my god. It was so funny. I was like, dang, Spencer. Sorry, I hope you appreciate this check that you're getting because they roasting you. And Spencer's like, Spencer's like, yep, all right. I knew this was coming. So, all right. Uh, and so Spencer explains the rules to the redemption challenge. And it's a dark box, and they have to go in and retrieve a token out of these boxes. But these boxes are filled with rats, snakes, and scorpions. Yo, yo.
Hell no, especially those scorpions. Like, I might deal with some mice, but like maybe snakes as long as they're not like biters. But scorpions? That sounds deadly to me. The
Oh,
producer was telling Corinne, like, I can't kill you.
then
I'm like,
so Tanisha.
I don't know about that. Oh yeah,
Okay, I
Tanisha.
don't know if you can kill me or not because these scorpions might kill me.
Yeah.
I see. I'm so upset. This week has been the week of television that I had to watch for these podcasts. Two shows now. This is the second show I had to watch where mice were involved and rats were involved, and it freaks me to freak out. Like, I didn't watch it on the first show, which is Dragula, by the way. If you want to check out our Dragula coverage, go to the other channel, our main channel at the Cut Pod, and check out that review on Dragula. But I didn't I could not watch it then because it freaks me out. My rats and mice are my thing. Like, no, absolutely not. And snakes is another one. So I would have been doubly like I would have been Tanisha in this one. I couldn't do it. I'm not trying. I can't do it because sticking my hand in a box full of things that I cannot see, like I can't even see to maneuver to not touch them. But ooh,
I
oh
would be
no.
the same way with heights. Like, if you ask me to do any kind of heights challenge, I'll climb up there, but I ain't gonna jump. I'm not gonna try and balance. I'm not gonna grab any flags. Like, I will climb to the top and sit there and cry until production lets me come back down. Not happening.
It's the crippling fear, like literally
Yeah.
crippling fear. Like, I would not be able to do it. So I get it. And so once Tanisha and Corinne found out what the challenge was, they were like, "Oh, absolutely not."
Oh, they're experiencing crippling fear before the competition
Before
even
this
starts.
they were like,
And
"No."
and I didn't know this, but Shake is a
He's a
veterinarian.
vet. He's a vet.
So, like, he's
He
probably
don't.
thrilled.
Yeah, he like sure. And like he said in his confessional, I've touched a lot of exotic animals in my residency as becoming a vet, and so I knew that. And I was like, oh well, this is Shakes to win by far. And I would have been like, Tanisha, y'all go ahead, you got it.
It's wild too, because this is also, I don't think we've talked about the rules. It's a knockout comp. So, like,
Mm-hmm.
if the girls are able to compete, they can easily make sure that
Yep.
Shake does not win. This
Yep.
is the best case scenario for them as far as competition, like, style. It's just the wrong content. Like,
Exactly.
any other knockout comp, Shake is done for. But on this one, oh, he is
Living. Because honest and I know everyone's like, oh, I don't like quitters, I don't like people to not try and da da da. This is when you have that kind of fear, it's not something you could just easily get over. It's not
yeah.
something you can be like, you know what, let me just face my fear and put my hand in the scorpion tank.
You don't even know which one's the scorpions and like
No.
or the snakes or the rats, and it's not like Shake is gonna help. Like, this competition truly would have been so terrifying. I have a lot of empathy for both Corinne and Tanisha because I don't know that I could have done it. And I think too, like, we need to give them some respect because they could have quit before the competition began.
Mm-hmm.
They did go into that booth, and Corinne did start. You know what I mean? Like, they did give an effort. Like,
Right.
they might not have given an effort that, like, we want to see, but they did try.
Exactly. I was like, they did so much more to me because I would not have even been able to go in there. I'm like, nope. You know what? I'll just be in the chair at the end of the night. I can't do it. I just can't do it. Physically, I can't do it. So I was like I said, I give the respect and empathy to both Corinne and Tanisha for even attempting to do it. Because
yeah,
no, I couldn't do it. But
Corinne even getting her arm in there a little bit.
A little bit.
Girl, you're brave. Like,
yeah.
I would need to know, like, where's the mice box? I will go to the mice box.
Like, where's the snake box? I think I'll probably be able to do the snake box a little bit more because They don't have legs, and as long as I don't put my hand by their mouth, I'm like, okay,
You'll be
maybe
okay. Yeah, it just be a little slimy.
Right, like, and then they were wearing gloves. So I think with the gloves, I probably would able to do it a little bit more. It's like, Shake was not wearing gloves. He does not care. That is how he didn't. He knew what he was. It was just like
he would push the animals aside to like find the token thing they were looking for.
But to nobody's surprise, Shake wins this redemption challenge easily. He takes Corinne out first. He definitely wanted Corinne out first. And then by the time it got to Tanisha, they were like, you know what, Shake, you got it. We're done.
Yeah.
We're done.
I do want to say really quickly before we move on from the competition, Omarosa making popcorn for the people inside. It was so good. So good. You know, it's like we talked about brewing tea for a fight. Like, no, she literally made popcorn to watch her enemies struggle. It was so funny.
We are definitely getting a masterclass on villainous behavior and watching the show, because they do some things that you be like, that's so. Oh, I can't believe you did that. And it'd be the small things like making of the popcorn so everybody can watch the downfall of Tanisha and Corinne, because it's just like, here, guys, I made popcorn. She come out with 2 big old bowls. I was like, oh, you stupid. Like, I hate you, but I love it in the best way. It's so crazy. But
and then also like Spencer like announces the results and then gets the fuck up out of that house. Like, he is not one to linger around and keep everybody up. He's like, bye, good night.
He ain't like the housewife. He ain't like the housewife who just stayed and stayed and stayed. I was like, girl, if you don't get up out of here, you're not going to bed. They don't. Just get up out of here. Spencer was like, well, there we go.
Bye. The check has already been signed. Thank you.
Check is in my account right now. Thanks. Bye. It was like Spencer was sitting there waiting, had his phone out, and he was like, oop, they dropped it to my account. Thanks. Bye, y'all. Yep.
Tanisha quits. He's like, yes, it's over faster.
It's done. He looked at his phone. They dropped the deposit into his account. He was like, all right, there we go. Bye, everybody. Like, he was upset. I think Spencer was probably upset even that he had to sit there and wait
for the whole comp
and Corinne to agree to finally do it. When he was sitting there, he was like, oh, y'all got good snacks here. I know Spencer was like, can we just hurry this up so I can go home? I am ready to go. But yeah, Spencer was in and out, chucked the deuces, and left. I had no intention of hanging out with these people. It's like, I don't really care. So
the house is like heartbroken. Like, you can just it's like you can see that they're all so disappointed with this winner.
Yeah. Nobody wanted Shake to win. Everybody wanted Shake gone. But I think everybody actually understood eventually after the fact, was like, but this was his, even if they could attempt to do it with the fear that they had, because like their attempts still would have been like,
yeah,
okay, like they still up, then try to do it. Shake was just like doop, 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 doop. He's like, no fear.
They would have maybe been able to get like one, like they might have each been able to get one, like so 2 in total on him before he was
able to get them all. Yep, it was crazy. Johnny felt so like, he was like, dang, because I really wanted Shake to lose. I really wanted them to get him out. So it'd be an easy decision. Now I got to make this decision. And he was disappointed with Tanisha because she quit and didn't even attempt to do it. But he was like, at least Corinne stuck her hand in for a minute and shows that she kind of want to play this game. And I think in that moment of talking to Johnny for Tanisha, talking to both Johnnies at that table, I think that Tanisha realized, like,
I'm done. I think
done.
She was probably done 4-1 at that point. I think there's no chance she stays. Yeah. And it's because of this idea that she doesn't want it bad enough.
Right. Exactly. And even like earlier in the episode, we saw Bobby saying, you need to cry. And she's like, I'm not going to cry. This is so stupid. Bobby wanted to see Tanisha's passion. Yeah, investment and passion. And so he was like, you need to cry. And she didn't. don't understand that because in her mind she's angry. She's like, I'm not gonna cry. I'm mad. Da da da
Yeah.
da. Johnny wanted to see the fight. Both Johnnies, they wanted to see the fight in Tanisha. And when she quit, she was just like, I think she felt it, and they were like, she really don't even want it. Why should I give my vote to somebody who don't even want to be here, who's not fighting for it? And so I think she felt that, and so that's why she was like, gotta do something. Gotta do something. And
Time to host my own funeral of sorts.
of sorts, okay, because she was like, I have to show these people that I'm not just a floater. I have to
Mm-hmm.
show them that I am playing the game, that I'm invested in this game. I'm trying to win this game. And so she goes upstairs, she grabs her phone, and she comes up with a plan. It's so dang good and stupid. But we got a classic revisit of iconic moment from the Bad Girls Club featuring Tanisha. And she brought in a whole choir
To wake those
to
people
wake
up.
them up at 6 o'clock in the morning. This choir was standing in the foyer of of this mansion, which is the best place to sing if you're a singer because the acoustics are amazing. And she had this group with their pots and their pans and their tambourines,
They
and
sound so good.
they were singing her iconic hit. I ain't getting no sleep because of y'all. Y'all ain't getting no sleep because of me. And baby, when she did that, I was like, girl, I don't care if this backfires in the worst way possible. I
It's
appreciate this
television.
moment. I appreciate this
No,
moment.
it's such a like pure moment where like you can tell like this woman knows exactly what we want as viewers, and she is determined to give it to us if she's going. And what's such an incredible thing about it is like I think she would have been fine going out here having made her kind of noise at the end, but the effort it took to get this choir here and at the time and get everyone in place shows all of the players, oh, Tanisha wants to be here. She wants to be here bad. And all of a sudden you start to see people, really Bobby. I think Bobby is the one who starts having like second thoughts the most intensely. And I mean, this might be one of my favorite attempted vote flips I have ever seen. I don't know if we got any Big Brother fans watching. Like for me, this was like Dan's funeral. I loved it so much.
So much. I was like, I don't care if this works or not. The fact that she did this, and she, like you said, she knows the viewers what we watching them for. And when you recreate such an iconic moment as that, and you do it in such a big grand way as a choir, and it was the way she snuck them in at 6 in the morning, like it was so crazy. It was so good, and it was like they was giving 3-part harmony, and it was so good. And you, like you said, you saw the appreciation of the villains, like, huh, okay.
Even Omarosa, I think, gets a little ruffled because all of a sudden she talks about how she needs to steal this moment from Tanisha. She tries to get up in it and show she's so not bothered. I'm like, I don't know about that, Omarosa. I think you're a little bothered.
You bothered. And that was the thing. I was like, being unbothered is what, like, she should have just been like, if you wanted to show her being unbothered, she should have went downstairs, got a cup of coffee.
Would anyone else like some?
Some coffee? Anybody want some coffee? After this lovely singing, I made coffee for everyone. Like that would have shown she was unbothered. But to get up in there, like, I just need to steal this moment, baby. You look very bothered. You look very mad, and you're trying to take something that hijack a moment that's not your moment. And even in your attempt, it didn't hijack anything. It was just added to the moment. It
it underlines the tension between you and Tanisha, which is a reason for people to keep Tanisha.
And then with Bobby joining in at the end, it just made it like, yep, we got everybody involved. Johnny Fairplay was like, this is the best way to wake up in the morning. I've never been woken up by gospel choir. This is great. I would have appreciated it. I'd been like, a choir? I can't get no sleep because of y'all. I would have been jamming. I would have loved it. I would have loved it. And I think I would have been the same way like Bobby and Johnny and both Johnny's like, you really want to be here. She actually, this is the greatest thing you could have shown, a house full of villains. You wake all of them up at 6 a.m. to a gospel choir singing your famous line. It was chef's kiss. It was perfection. I love that moment. I was like, I don't care what happens. If it backfires, it backfires. But it was great TV.
And with the way the vote deliberation goes, like, I think you realize pretty quickly, oh, she should have the votes to stay here. But, there are these comments from Bananas about wanting to vote with the House, and from Anfisa about needing to, and Bobby, honestly, about needing to have Corinne's back because Corinne had their back. And I started getting a little nervous. I was like, I don't know, like, I'll be fine if Corinne stays, but I really want Corinne to go. And it seemed for a moment like it could go either way. And I started to have this fear too, where I was like, oh, maybe Corinne's that player who nobody ever sees as a threat. And they just keep putting her up and keeping her and putting her up and keeping her and putting her up and keeping her.
That's what I thought was going to happen, because I felt like, dang, I don't know if they are actually going to, because Anfisa would make comments like, I don't know. I mean, Corinne had my back. I don't know if Tanisha is somebody who I trust. And I'm like, okay, so maybe she don't have Anfisa's vote. That's fine. And then Johnny was like, I vote with the House, whatever the House is voting. And I'm like, okay, so what is the House wanting? And then we have the Bobby of it all going back and forth. Like, I want to vote for Tanisha, but I want to vote for Corinne because I told Corinne I have her back. And then listen to this conversation with Anfisa, like, Corinne had our back and da-da-da-da. And I'm like, I feel like I need to have her back, da-da-da. So I was kind of like, okay, all right. So going into the lair, I was like, I think Tanisha might be leaving, because I don't know if the House is going to. Only person I knew who she was going to have a vote from was from Shake. I was like, because Shake is not voting for Corinne. He doesn't like her.
She's thirsty.
He
thirsty. Does not like thirsty women.
Thirsty?
Misogynist. Like, I cannot stand that man.
I'm going to say thirsty.
I'm always thirsty. What are you talking about?
I mean, why not?
Thirst is a human condition.
I mean, we should all be thirsty from time to time.
I already finished my coffee.
It's okay. It's not. I was like, I'm too bad with being thirsty. But yeah, so Shake doesn't like Corinne. So I was like, okay, Shalisha at least got Shake's vote. I had no idea where the rest of the House was going to go at that point.
Same. So, and then we start seeing the votes come in, and I think who they showed us two of them. They showed us Shake, and then they showed us Fair Play. And when Fair Play voted to keep or to get rid of Corinne, I was like shocked, because in my head I'm thinking Fair Play and Omarosa, they're close. Right. So what's going on here? I was still nervous. I thought maybe it still ends up being 3-2, and Johnny thought the House was going one way. But lo and behold, we get a unanimous vote.
I was shocked. I was shocked beyond shocked that Corinne got eliminated unanimously. I was like, what? I was shocked. I really thought it was going to be a split vote. But then, like I said, when Fair Play voted for Corinne to go, and the way he did it, let me just say, Johnny Fair Play, he was like, Corinne reminds me of a sister in Florida, and I just really, I'm very like close to. She just reminds me of a sister in Florida. But then I realized I already have a sister in Florida. So, I was like, was like, Johnny, you're stupid. You're stupid, fair play. But I loved it.
It's so good.
This
I mean, sorry, you
this
go.
is this is my reminder of why Johnny Fairplay is who Johnny Fairplay is, and I really love because like I can appreciate it now. Back when Johnny Fairplay was on Survivor, I don't think I appreciated his villainous ways for what it was. I just was at that point in my life. I was like, he's lying and he's mean and boo Johnny. Now I'm older, wiser, much more fans of villains than I am a lot of other people now. And I'm like, to be a villain, you have to be so strategic and tactical and do things that people just wouldn't do. And I appreciate it. I couldn't be a villain because that's just not who I am. But I appreciate a good villain. I love watching them maneuver and watching them work. And it's like, I'm impressed.
For sure.
I'm impressed.
I will say I'm very curious to see if they kind of unpack this vote a little bit next episode, because I'm wondering, do Johnny, Fairplay, and Anfisa find out the vote is flipping and flip with it? Or is this something that kind of happened more, I just, the fact that it was unanimous is really interesting. And I just want to know a little bit more.
Yeah.
But I also, like, more importantly, I just want to, like, give Tanisha all of the flowers, because I really think that she gave us TV. She showed us that she saw what people, like, I think she knew people thought she wasn't in the game anymore. And she showed them she was still in the game. And I think that the fact that she was rewarded with unanimous vote is absolutely the right thing to happen. I think it was just such an exceptional episode for her. And she has jumped to the top of my list of people I want to win this game.
Yeah. I would love for her to win Supervillain next week. I would absolutely love to see her do it and just be like, and yes, Omarosa, you're on the hit list. Like, look at her in the face and be like, oh, I don't have to lie to you. I'm gonna be honest. You on the hit list. Period. And honestly, she don't need to put Shake on the hit list, because I think she needs to keep Shake around.
And Fisa needs to go up.
Omarosa and Fisa.
Maybe Bobby.
Maybe Bobby. And they'd be like, Bobby, I'm not trying to get you out. It's only because I need to put Fairplay.
I need you to, actually, okay, so it should be Fairplay. Like, if she knew what we knew, it should be Fairplay.
It should be Fairplay.
But I think based on the way they're seeing the house, I would think Bobby's more likely.
But I will be like, I don't want you to go. My target, y'all know who it is. I just got to put 3 people up. But you know who my target is. So if y'all just make sure she don't win, it is what it is. But, and shoot, you put, if this would be ideal. Tanisha wins Supervillain. She puts up Omarosa, Anfisa, and Johnny Fairplay. Put them 3 up. And Johnny Fairplay wins, or Anfisa wins. It don't matter.
Omarosa's gone.
Omarosa's gone because those are the 2 votes. One of those 2 people would be the ones that vote for her. So if Johnny is up, then she'll have Anfisa's vote. If Anfisa's up, she might have Johnny's vote. But then Johnny is also very, like, much more of a villain than Anfisa. So he can be like, our time is over, Omarosa. It's time for you to go.
Oh, especially when Omarosa was thinking about putting him up while she was supervillain. I think there is, I think that bridge is a little, I wouldn't say burnt, but I would say it's a little singed. Right? Like, there's been a fire near it. And I don't think Fairplay will need much to jump ship.
No, I don't think so either. And he's smart. He'll be like, she can go right now and I'll still be okay, because then I'll look like everybody, because people really don't realize how close they are. They think Johnny and Johnny are closer than Johnny and Omarosa. So it's kind of like,
he's really well positioned.
Very much so.
I'm sure we'll talk about this, but it looks like on the promo he's going for supervillain.
Yes.
And in my head, I'm like, Fairplay, you don't need it.
Really?
You don't need it.
You really don't need it. And speaking of the previews, excuse me. Thank you. Speaking of the previews, we see Johnny Bananas is telling Fairplay he needs to go for supervillain. And John, and he was like, yeah, I'm gonna go. And then all of a sudden we see Fair Play like, I don't want to talk to nobody. I don't want to deal with this. So I'm like, did he get supervillain and is everybody
Or
pressuring him, or did he not
not
get
get
super?
it and think he's screwed. I don't
Right.
know. I need to know.
I need to know
House of
exactly.
Villains keeps me sat every week. It's too good. It's just too good.
And we see the saga of Omarosa and Tanisha continues into next week. And I'm like, yes. But then, okay, from my mind, watching this promo, we see Omarosa like, you need to get security because if she wants some, she can get some. And she ain't gonna punk me. And I'm like, girl, if you're really about that life, I wouldn't be
Yep.
asking for security.
For all of that like classist nonsense about the way Tanisha speaks, Omarosa showing kind of that energy in the promo
Mm-hmm.
was just really interesting. Like,
I'm not
girl,
gonna
like
let
drop
nobody
the high
punk
and
me.
mighty act. Like, you are in a reality game show for villains. Like, stop it. This is not the White House. And let's be
Here's
real, the White House you were in was not worth bragging about either.
let's be honest. But it's so funny because like I said earlier, in my community, we like to do this. I'm not them. I'm others. I'm better. I don't talk like them. I don't act like them. But in the core of all of us, we are that. We are that. We are very we like rah rah rah. That's who we are. We have always been that way because that's what society has told us we're supposed to be, and we all like And for Omarosa to act like your vocabulary is so low for you to do this and curse all the time, and then we turn around and see her. I ain't no punk. She ain't gonna punk me. Da da. And y'all better get security. I'm like, oh, so it's convenient when it's convenient. You wanna
Yeah.
I don't like that. I'm like, but that's just code switching, and I get it. I get it. She code switch. We all code switch. It's fine. It's fine. But girl, don't come for Tanisha for her rah rah. If you go turn around and get rah rah with her, like, but you ain't about that life, almost. Because if you were about that life, you wouldn't be asking for security. Because the last thing I want to do is when I'm in that rah rah moment is for somebody to break me up. So I don't want nobody to break us up. I'm coming for you. Let's go. And she's like, she's so violent, but I wish she would. Girl, you would not stand a chance against Tanisha. Tanisha would
No.
tear you apart.
And I really hope that next week we get to watch Tanisha just rip her apart as supervillain, because
Ooh,
that is the world I need to live in.
oh my God, if that happens, my hope, I promise you next week, I will have confetti. I will have a party blower. I will have, it will be so, it will be such a party because I will be so excited to see Tanisha as the supervillain and going for Omarosa straight up. Like, you better win the redemption challenge because you're going home if you don't. You're going home for
You
my big
are
brother's
going
house.
home.
You are going home. It is what it is. Those are the moments I live for. So I hope we get that with Tanisha and Omarosa next week. I just need it. I just need it to happen. But I think that's it.
Until then, we have to
Until
wait.
then, yeah, we gotta wait. I hate one episode weeks. I hate it so much. I'm used to the Netflix and Peacock drops where everything comes out at the same time, and I'm like, yes, I can binge watch it all. But we will be back here next week, same time. Well, maybe not same time, but different panel,
A
maybe
time.
a time and a panel. But we'll be back to talk about House of Villains episode 7. We'll see if we get that Tanisha supervillain that we all really, really want. Fingers crossed.
Manifest it, y'all.
Please, please. Follow us, subscribe to this channel. Subscribe, please. Thank you so much. If you have already. If you haven't, what are you waiting for? You just stuck around this whole time with us. You know we got some great moments, so hit the subscribe button. Um, Follow us on all of our social media outlets, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at The Cup Pod. You can also follow myself and Taylor on Twitter or Instagram. It's fine. You can follow us anywhere. Get your cup merch at LanaCheeseCreations.etsy.com. The link will be in the description below. And on that note, we appreciate you. And cheers, y'all.
Since
Cheers.
on y'all.
Bye. Tanisha for supervillain. That's all I can say.
It's
That's
what we need.
that's what we need. That's all my life will be complete